Happy New Year, everyone. Nice to be back. I hope you had a great Christmas. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Today's episode is going to be about sitcoms, specifically black sitcoms, TV as a whole as well. Do you believe TV has got worse?
You tell me. You tell me.
It's a genuine question. When you think of sitcoms, specifically black sitcoms, what first comes to your mind? Fresh Prince? The Cosby Show? Martin? Or is it more contemporary shows like Blackish? Do you count Insecure as a sitcom? I don't. But hey. But why is it when you think of black sitcoms, what first comes to mind are shows that were made nearly 30 years ago? In some cases, over 30 years ago. What are the dynamics and the changes that have led to that? Is it just better writing, better actors back then? Or is it something more structural, more systemic, more ingrained into the culture of how we consume TV and media? All of that will be explored and more. Okay, before we get into the episode, I'm gonna need you to do me one massive favor. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. In order for the channel to grow, it's gonna need your support. It's gonna need your support, your engagement, and your clicks for the channel to grow. Currently, we're sitting on 300 plus something subscribers, trying to hit 1,000. So if you're watching this, hit the subscribe button. It'll be greatly appreciated. Without further ado, let's get into this episode.
What is truly American is black culture to a large degree. Flip on the television set.
I think the 90s was definitely a golden age of black television.
So when you think of black TV, black sitcoms, what exactly stands out? Not the TV show, but what stands out about it? Is it the characters? Is it the writing? Is it the sometimes randomness of the episodes?
Why don't you introduce me to your friends?
That's Mike right here.
How you doing?
That's Jimmy.
How you doing, Jim? What's up, Mr. Cox?
Right there behind you, that's John.
What's up, John? What's up? What's cracking?
That will be what you consider, or what the industry calls serialization.
Gone are the days of episodic storytelling, where each new week brought a new adventure or some interesting new self-contained storyline, where writers were encouraged to experiment and take chances and try wildly creative new ideas. Now everything has got to be serialized, everything has to be in service of one big overarching storyline, and at a certain point, well, it gets pretty fucking boring, man.
See, a lot of the differences between TV today, sitcoms specifically, and TV in the early 2000s, 90s times was serialization. You see, that isn't just one of the major differences as well. It's also syndication, reruns. Think about it. How many episodes of Fresh Prince, My Wife and Kids, did we watch? You see, that had a very, I would say, ingraining effect on our memories. It's imprinted on our minds. Will, Michael Kyle, the Cosbys, their characters, Martin and Gina, these moments are iconic when Martin tells Gina to leave and then quickly tells her to stay.
I want you out. I don't even know why you're still here. Step! Step!
It's more than just a funny moment. It's a moment that we've seen over and over and over again. And with memes, memification of TV, all it has done is just live in the cultural zeitgeist. Reruns allow that. The memes are just an extension of that. Will telling his dad it's cool for him to leave, then breaking down when he does leave.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Will.
You
know what? Actually, this works out better for me. You know, the slimmies of summer come to class wearing next to nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's all right to be angry.
Hey, why should I be mad? I'm saying, at least he said goodbye this time. I just wish I hadn't wasted my money buying this stupid present.
I'm sorry. If there was something that I
Hey, you know what? You ain't got to do nothing, Uncle Phil. Hey, ain't like I'm still 5 years old, you know? Ain't like I'm gonna be sitting up every night asking my mom, when's Daddy coming home, you know? Who needs him? Hey, he wasn't there to teach me how to shoot my first basket, but I learned, didn't I? Hey, I got pretty damn good at it too, didn't I, Uncle Phil?
You did.
Got through my first date without him, right? I learned how to drive. I learned how to shave. I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. To hell with him!
It's one of those moments in TV that lives with us for a long time. And it's not just because it's good writing, it's because we kept seeing it over and over and over again. Now, we live in the streaming era. The streaming era has an inherent difference. First of all, it's very algorithm focused. We can miss some of the best, or let's say underrated talents of our time when it comes to TV, because it just might not be in our algorithm. We have more selection of choice, which in some ways is a great thing. I think it's a good thing that we are allowed and have the capacity to choose our own programming. We can essentially create our own channel.
But there are other things from old television that I think recent TV could take some lessons from. I've cited this before, but to me, the biggest TV news story that broke this year is this chart showing the most streamed shows of 2023, nearly all of which are old shows. I feel like not nearly enough attention has been paid to this fact. I've seen a lot of articles, including one from the New York Times, citing nostalgia as the biggest reason here. And while I'm sure that plays a huge role, I just don't see it. I'm sure people in the US were nostalgic for their childhoods in the economic downturn of the early 70s, but you didn't see reruns of I Love Lucy smashing then current hits like All in the Family in the ratings.
And this allows us to have more control. So we rarely, if ever, come under undiscovered talents without them being highly recommended or reaching a point of unavoidance in the case of maybe a Game of Thrones, Stranger Things. And I keep mentioning these TV shows, although they're not black TV shows. Blackish would be one I should have mentioned in this demographic. It's because they reached such popularity that you couldn't avoid them unless you were deliberately avoiding them. But there's a reason why I chose those TV shows, but another one that could work is Insecure, I May Destroy You. And you may notice that this is a slant away from comedy. Why is that a slant away from comedy? It's because there is a greater focus in these streaming networks and streaming networks as a whole on prestige. Prestige is coded. It implies drama focus, less comedic. Also, more narratively focused. Hence why we've moved away from the more standalone episodes.
Just the narratives themselves weren't really diving as deeply as they could, and I think that might have something to do with the fact that things did fall off into the 2000s, and the way that sitcoms are today in general, they are much more dramatic and they're much more filmic and they have stronger themes and things like that.
Hiller says 90s sitcoms didn't do a good job of digging into the Black American experience and often relied on tropes, stereotypes, and slapstick humor without delving into why it made fun of certain things.
That focus, the move away from comedy because it's seen as less prestigious, which in a weird way creates an irony for all of us as an audience, because many of us in the audience would understand sometimes the best way to deliver, especially a political message, but even an emotional message, is through comedy.
Yes, it's Dad. We're worried about him. He's crazy. Yeah, Mom. Like this morning. He said, thanks to his workout, his butt cheeks are so strong, he could crack walnuts. And? He did. Mama?
And this morning, he woke me up at 6 o'clock so we can go lie on the grass and watch the sunrise.
What is so wrong with that?
The sprinklers were on. Mom, I think he's losing it.
You guys, your father went to the funeral yesterday and he hasn't cried yet. He hasn't gotten his grief out, so he's going to be acting a little strange for a while, but in time, things will get back to normal. You'll see.
All right.
Hey, guys.
But because comedy itself is maybe more difficult to write, I would say, there's more complexities to it. Streaming networks and production companies have focused more on dramas and things that have more prestige coded. They've moved away from these standalone comedies. But when you think of your favorite episodes of The Simpsons, of Family Guy, of even Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, it tends to be the most comedic moments that delivered sometimes the most insightful and heartly messages. Some of this is to do with the more practical element of it.
I like money.
Shows need to make money, they need views. If they don't make money, what they use, many streaming networks and production companies, they will say that it has to either make money or be up for awards contention. Again, like I said, comedy is it's harder to do that. But when you look at the raw data of this, you can see that it's older shows with more serializations. Yes, some of these shows are clearly got a heavy white skew, but I argue that black shows and black sitcoms would still be on this list. And that's because they live with you. People don't just watch TV for good quality, essentially. They watch TV for characters and engagement. They want to feel these characters. You want to sit with them longer. There's many studies that have shown that TV shows become a part of the family. They're a way of uniting people. Hey, it's a way of uniting with a girl or a guy if you're trying to get to know them better.
Distinct from film is how much time you spend with its characters. Whether it's drama or comedy, I have such a different relationship as a viewer to Don Draper after 92 episodes of Mad Men, or Daphne Moon after 264 episodes of Frasier than I do with any film character. You get to know these characters like the back of your hand, their strengths, their foibles, and finding delight in the ways that they can still surprise you after years of spending time with them. I'm not saying that this long-term relationship to the audience makes them better characters than what film has to offer, just that it's unquestionably unique. And I'm afraid the last 10 years of television has seen that uniqueness diminish.
I want to make this very clear. I don't have a big problem with TV shows following this trend of being more narratively focused, but I wish there was more risk in taking a more serialized approach, maybe a mix and match. That was something I saw with X-Men 97. No, it's a cartoon, I know it's not a comedy, but in some ways I think it illustrates the point that people want to sit with the characters as much, well, far more than just this straightforward one narrative plot. Surely we can mix and match, and surely production companies and streaming networks should see the high reward that benefits them if they go down and follow a sitcom, specifically black sitcoms. But why is it that there's more opportunity for black actors than ever before, but sitcoms have been slashed more than ever before? What kind of paradox or oxymoron does this create for entertainers and creators as a whole? And aren't us, the audience, really the ones suffering?
In your career, do you see it getting better for people of color, Latinas?
Slightly. I feel like right now we're in a place, yes, Hollywood definitely has opened up a bit, but I feel like a lot of it is very calculated diversity in terms of where, they hire people to check off a box or to fit a certain standard, and I do hope to see a world, and I think that it will happen very, very soon, that we start to see Latinos being cast as everyone, including lead characters and not just the side character where their heritage is their entire personality.
I think by this point, anyone who's watching this will understand that marketing is about appealing to an audience, getting them in the feels, as people like to say. And it's not just that, but there are things that are coded: blackness, ethnic minority, ethnic diversity. This allows streaming network production companies to just kind of trick you into thinking that they're the nice guy, number one, because that's what they're trying to do, and number two, that this is real opportunity, this is groundbreaking, when in reality, I think it creates a paradox. There's more opportunities, but the content, the TV shows, it's even funny I use the word content, but the TV shows, the programming, and in some cases the movies feel more hollow. It is no secret that people, especially on the internet, not real place, but people on the internet and in real life have been calling out Disney's hollow and shallow attempts at diversity while producing worse and worse content, TV, movies, without really addressing that people just want good shows.
I think that when it comes to the world of fantasy and sci-fi in general, it hasn't felt like a safe space always for people of color.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Infusing messaging as a sort of a number one priority in our films and TV shows is not what we're up to.
There's plenty of examples of just how wrong that is. Aside from the footage where Disney execs admitted to doing exactly what Iger claimed they weren't doing.
Our leadership over there has been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda. And so I feel like background this I was just wherever I could just basically adding queerness to if you see anything queer in the show, I'm proud family. But I just was no one would stop me and no one was trying to stop me.
But all that aside, the company has become the masters of progressive remakes. There's the Proud Family reboot. An absolute marvel of subtlety it was, wasn't it? The original was a sweet, somewhat nuanced look at a black family.
I can understand you not wanting them at your party because, they're old school. But what about me? You got a real cool daddy. I know about Buster Chimes, U-Tip, and Lil Cha-Cha.
Yeah, Dad, you're the coolest.
It's now transformed into a megaphone for every social justice rallying cry under the sun. Balance? Forget it. We don't need that when you can hammer home a message with all the grace of a bulldozer. And let's face it, the racial tension angle was practically gift-wrapped for them. It was a perfect excuse for a reboot.
Because this country was built on slavery, which means slaves built this country. And we demand our 40 acres and a mule.
Then there's the race-swapping trend, because nothing says progressive like arbitrarily changing the race of established characters. Originality be damned. Now, established characters are just suggestions. Blank slates. Of course, we all know this progressive sprinkle isn't about respect for underrepresented cultures. Heavens no. It's about optics. It's always been about that. The more characters with different skin tones they cram into a movie, the louder they can shout from the mountaintops about how progressive they are.
So people might disagree with me on this point. Blackish is a show that I watched for this. I compared it to Insecure, which is not quite a comedy, but it's got comedic elements to it. I compared it to My Wife and Kids, One-on-One, Girlfriends, one of my favorite shows, Girlfriends, which I really don't think gets its credit for being a genuinely timeless show.
Embrace it. Be happy. I am happy. Look at me. I'm ecstatic. No, you are all freaked out about getting older. Oh, please. I am not that shallow. Yes, you are that shallow. I think I would know how shallow I am. Yeah, I think I would know too because I've been on the receiving end of it for the last 23 years. Well,
And I compared Blackish to it, and I thought to myself, Blackish feels like a TV show, a shallow attempt at making something black, but that is really explaining blackness to white people. That was one critique I had. Another critique, it just meant it felt like a black show made for white people. Now there's an argument that there's some sense to that. Number one, many statistics will show that white people, white men specifically, is the majority of the audience that are watching. But what I would argue, as these timeless shows have shown, making a show that is by black people, for black people, will get white people engaged. Why do I say that? Because, and I genuinely believe this is a controversial point, that black people want to feel, white people want to feel a part of the party, and they want to feel a part of the authentic party. Now they will accept anything because they don't know better, but giving them a genuine experience, in the case of Girlfriends, in the case of Fresh Prince, will, put it like this, it won't damper the audience anyway. It won't reduce the audience size. And it has been shown in the statistics in this article by Forbes that diversity does help grow your audience. It doesn't hamper a project. So why not make it as an authentic experience as possible? Why is it that they are placating and making it as palatable as possible? And I really think that this comes out one of my biggest arguments, that the reason why TV today, especially in the black space, feels more hollow and shallow is because it's made by people who don't love the work or not from that particular culture. It's not just putting black people into spaces, it's putting people who actually have a care for these stories to be told and are not just telling them as a content filler. And that's what you find a lot with programming and TV shows, especially on streaming networks. That's one of the main and key reasons they don't live for long enough. They are just filler to fill your attention. And this is such a juxtaposition to what it felt like before, which was genuinely trying to engage you, genuinely trying to make these characters live with you. They weren't just telling you stories, they weren't just giving you lessons, they were walking in your daily life with you.
Yeah, and you don't have a place to live.
Why did you lie?
I mean, we're sitting around the table and everybody talking about all these great lives and these new things they're doing, you know, and I didn't want you to say, hey, there's my nephew, yeah, he's still living in my pool house. I mean, I didn't want you to think that all these years that I've been out here just ain't worth nothing. You know, that you just been wasting your time with me. Look, Uncle Phil, I just don't want you to think that I'm that same stupid kid I was when I first moved out here.
How could you possibly believe that that's what I'd be thinking? Look at you. You're moving out on your own. You're going to finish college in a year. You're becoming a man. A man I'm damn proud of.
It's important to say that dramas as a whole has improved. In the early 2000s, late 90s, well, mid to late 90s, dramas, specifically black dramas, were seen a bit more risky. Those opportunities, from what the data shows, weren't as afforded to black actors and actresses of the time. Now we've got things like Power, we have things like I May Destroy You, and that is just the tip of the iceberg. However, it does come with its own paradox. It comes with its own problems.
Lieutenant Governor St. Patrick. The intense crime drama Power was such a top earner for Starz that expansion was a natural move. Granted, many fans felt betrayed by the disjointed conclusion to 6 seasons of building James St. Patrick's empire and downfall. 50 Cent and company were clearly eager to set up the spinoffs. So what's the excuse for the quality of the shows themselves? Opinions on Ghost, Raising Kanan, and Force vary considerably, but most agree that they lack the depth of the original.
Any idea who it was? Who? The snitch that ratted us out? Oh, absolutely.
Who was it?
You don't know?
If I knew, they'd be dead already.
The storytelling is still no less dense for the pacing to feel even more hurried. The Power Universe's parody of the OG's cool factor may be commercially effective, but the epilogue may be even more stained than the initial ending.
Tell me more about this school.
So this is a mission statement.
Some of that is the nature of the time. People refuse to let these franchises go. In the case of Power, it's a franchise that lives with people. People want to stay in it. But the opportunities are there. It's important to point out that dramas in the black space have improved. Now, I think they've improved simply because there's more opportunity and not as much as, to me, they don't challenge the state of play enough, in my opinion. But there are more opportunities and they are better than their contemporaries of the past. So it's important to put that out there too. One point that is important to make, and is very critical to make, is that there's a genuine search for authenticity. Now you can say that that's in the TV space, in the niche of black TV as well, but I think it's everywhere. You can make this argument with Instagram, people becoming increasingly more disillusioned with influencers, and cancel culture, I think, is actually a response to celebrities' inauthenticity. Is that a word? Inauthenticity? I don't know why I said it like that, but we've become increasingly more reticent to call out inauthentic behavior, double standards. It's because in a world where everything feels fake, we're just searching for something real. A prime example of that, especially in this black TV space, is with Netflix. They have their own version of Pop the Balloon.
Live dating show where singles test their chemistry and compete for a first date. Only one thing is certain: when their balloon pops, so there's their chance at love.
Forgive me, last year I said that they had bought the original one from Arlette, I believe her name is, or Arlette. You know what I mean. But they hadn't, they'd created their own. Yet, the more popular one is the original Arlette, doesn't even matter. But the original one is still more popular to this day, and that's for one simple reason. It's because it's more creative, more a creator-focused approach. It's more authentic. It just feels more genuine. The Netflix one has so many more advantages. Better production. I think has a format that is more, allows you to invest in these couples more. Yet people still go with the YouTube lower production but original and authentic version more. Yes, some of the numbers and data is not all out there, but the one people talk about more is the YouTube version. And that is simply because people in this day and age are searching for a more creator-focused approach to their content, TV programming, or films. So ultimately, what do people want? Why has TV got worse? Do you even agree that TV, black TV, and specifically black sitcoms have got not only worse, but are reaching a point of extinction? Or is it just a sign of a time, a wave, a trend that will eventually go away? I'm more with that. I think it's a trend. But why are those reasons? Just to cover it? I think the audience is fragmented. With more and more options, it's hard to have a more focused audience. That also leads to less syndication, less reruns. Characters are finding it more difficult to be imprinted in our minds. That is some of the structural reasons. There's also other systemic reasons. We have a more focused approach on how we tell our stories. That means more narratively focused, less episodes. So we don't live with the characters anymore. We just don't. There have been, and this is in more the white space, but it could happen in the black space as well. People bringing back shows into the modern time. Yeah, I saw this with Gilmore Girls. I saw this with Lizzie McGuire. None of them lasted too long. I would hate to see that happen to something like My Wife and Kids, All of Us. In my opinion, well, not just my opinion, it's actually how the shows ended. Those are shows that didn't end conclusively.
So, when we get back to LA, I'll swing by the clinic.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
You really are a good man. Oh, mwah.
And if you brought them back and tried to approach them like that, I would think it would come across as prestige baiting and kind of moving away from the format that made it so special. There's a way to create a hybrid. There's a space for both. You can have both dramas and more episodes. There's a way for it to both happen. And I'd love to see that. I think as an audience, we've just become more and more aware that diversity, when you see it thrown in your face as marketing, is a ploy. It's a trick. We as an audience are not just as gullible as we were when it really exploded was just after the George Floyd incident, where everyone and their grandmother wanted to look like they were innocent, and we stand against racism. Sometimes just making good content and putting black people there is the best way to do it. I understand it was a sign of the time, but now it's become transparent and obvious, and anything that comes across as virtual signaling gets called out. Hence why Stormzy's been getting called out a lot. We are so keenly aware of these just virtual signaling that as marketing companies and a strategic way of looking forward with streaming companies and production companies, we are ready to call it out and are not standing for it. And we're using our eyeballs and our attention as a currency for people to pay attention. Ultimately, though, we just want good TV. Doesn't matter if it's sitcom or drama series, we want good TV, good variety, and good characters. And we want those characters to come across as genuine. Hence why there are less iconic roles, less iconic series that we live with. There always will be iconic series because there's so much content out there, but there's less, and they feel they don't live with us as much as before. Some of that is because of the amount of production that's made. Some of that is because they just aren't as good. Well. That brings us to the end of the show. Put into your comments if you agree. Put into your comments if you feel like I was waffling. At times I felt like I might have gone off track, but I hope you enjoyed what I said. I put into your comments of TV shows, sitcoms that you think are modern and are great, and tell us why. But without, what's this underneath the nose? I'm out.
Through this journey of discovery.